practicing what I preach. And one of the things that I always preach is to trust your intuition and take action before you're ready, and to make big moves, and like life will reward you.
Welcome back to AG University Podcast. It is I, your host and lead dancing unicorn at Newell. And today we have a very special guest, actually a repeat guest. You guys went absolutely bananas for this last episode we did together. Kristen Such, welcome to the show.
Thanks, girl.
She recorded an episode that was called, was it How to Be Rich as Fuck?
Yeah.
Was that what we called it? How to Be Rich as Fuck. And you guys ate that shit up. So I said, Kristen, you got to come back on. She's so wise. I'm going to let her formally introduce herself, but she's a genius. So I'm so happy you're here. Kristen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Kristen. I'm a podcaster. I'm an inner work coach, a spiritual mentor for CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, and spiritual beings. I'm an energy healer. I feel like, I'm a lot of things, but those are the titles that my ego has chosen right now.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And Kristen and I have been entangled in this beautiful universal web for a while. We became just girly pops friends on social media. And then I had her on the podcast. That was like when we met in person. First of all, her sister lives 2 houses down from me, and her whole family is from...
In your old house.
Yes, in my old house. Like, what a weird, such a cool connection. And then Austin went to high school with all the Such girls. So we are like we've been swirling around in the ethers for a while, and this is perfect.
I know. I was actually thinking about it this morning. I was like, isn't it so cute that it was kind of like always meant to be, because you were always going to marry Austin, and like my sisters knew Austin. And that's actually how I first got connected with you, is like I saw your videos on TikTok, and okay, so a little bit about me before everything happened with me. I would party with my sisters a lot when I was in high school. So I was like 16, 17. My sisters were in college, or like older than me, and they were probably like 20, 22, 23, whatever. I don't know. I would go to a lot of their parties. I would actually like not hang out with my friends a lot. I would hang out with my sisters in high school.
Classic.
And I just remember seeing Austin like around. And then when you were posting him forever ago, I would be like, I feel like I know that guy. And so I think I one time sent it to my sisters, and I'm like, didn't we used to party with this dude?
You're like, didn't we see him at high school kegger like 10 years ago? You're like, yep.
Literally.
We were always meant to link, and I'm so happy that we did. And I'm so happy that I know your whole family now. It's really been fun.
I know. And so like, it's so funny because like when I go home to Florida, like the only friend I see is Anna Grace, and she's not even like a high school friend or anything. It's like, it's so convenient because you also live so close to my sisters. So anyway.
I know. So that's our backstory. And that's why I was like, Kristen, every time she comes to town, I get so excited because we just go into a freaking portal. We yap and yap and yap and yap. I mean, seriously, we went to coffee one day and we spent 5 hours just talking. Finally, we're like, we've got to eat something. Actually, one time she came over, I took her on a walk. I get kind of lost because the entrance, there was some construction happening. There was some confusion. She literally looked at me and was like, I can't even talk anymore. I'm so hungry. Like, where are you taking me? Because I had just taken her out to the beach. We walked like 5 miles and just were yapping away. And finally she was like, I'm so hungry. I'm about to pass away. I was like, I'm sorry.
I was like, hey, I can't talk right now because I'm like, my blood sugar is really low. So if I'm not talking, like I'm not mad. I just like really need to eat.
Yeah, so we really just lose track of time. Anyways, so happy to have you on the show because you're one of my favorite people to just yap away with, obviously, but you really bring such grounded wisdom. Kristen is such a grounded human, and I love being in her presence because she's also always doing really cool things like plant medicine ceremonies in Peru. And, she's doing all the things that, I always tell you guys, like, that life did not choose me. Like, I've tried the plant medicine route and it's just not for me. So I love that we can have people like Kristen come on and tell us all the beautiful insights and takeaways. But for now, before we get into that, Kristen, just tell us what's been going on in your world. What's exciting you these days? You're kind of like the abundant code hack queen. So like, I just want you to open it up and just tell us like what's going on in your world. What are you learning about? What are you excited about?
So I feel like this last year has been such a big initiation into like trusting the unknown. And part of trusting in the unknown is almost like letting go of a little bit of manifestation, because the unknown is going to like serve you even better than what your brain could logically manifest. So if you don't know me or you're not familiar like with my life, because you probably aren't, I lived in San Diego for the last 3 years. And when I moved into this apartment, I was like, oh, I'm like here until I have babies. Like I literally told my landlord, I was like, yeah, I'm not moving out until like I'm literally moving in and like meeting my husband and having babies. And she was like, amazing. And lifed as it does. And I've learned to never say never in my life now, because like God just has this way of working its magic and like bringing me on the biggest plot twists ever. And one of my core values and my biggest ways that I feel like I don't know, just like a really big integrity piece for me is practicing what I preach. And one of the things that I always preach is to trust your intuition and take action before you're ready, and to make big moves, and like life will reward you. And so I feel like I get a masterclass in the things that I say and teach. And so, long story short, San Diego was feeling like super out of alignment, and it just had been itching at my soul, but I hadn't really like done anything about it. And then I felt like one day I literally woke up and I was like, something's off. I have to move. And I had been getting all these signs for San Francisco, which number one, I said I would never move to San Francisco because it was too far away from my family. And number two, I had never been ever. But something in me was telling me to go to San Francisco. So about a month ago, I found a subleaser and packed up my life and drove my little car and my dog to San Francisco. And so I've been kind of in this surrender experiment in my life right now. And when I got here, I had the craziest synchronicities of the people that I was meeting, of the connections I was making, of the opportunities that were falling into my lap. So much so that people that lived here were like, how are you so well connected? Like people still say that to me. And I'm like, I'm not well connected. They were like, you know everyone. And I'm like, I don't know everyone. I just continue to follow the threads. And so I would say something that's like lighting me up is just blindly following my intuition and watching it unfold even better than I could ever imagine.
Amen. Snaps for Kristen. Yeah. I was shocked when you moved to San Francisco. I was like, wait, I thought you loved your place. And you're like, yeah, had to go, had to change. But I love that about you, because I trust everything that you say, because I know that you are so rooted in your intuition. And obviously this is a school of intuition, this whole podcast. Kristen also has her own Alignment Academy, which is a similar school of intuition. So I feel like this is the ultimate intuition chat also, because I of course have my perspective, but Kristen, I would love for you to share your perspective on how does your intuition speak to you? Like, how do you feel it? Like, what are some tools that we can give everybody here today? Like when they're like, ooh, I want to be on that surrender journey and like really trust myself enough to let go. So what does that look like for you?
I think there's a couple things here. So the first thing that I want to do is really kind of speak to the fact that everyone's intuition is going to speak differently to them, right? Like I know you're pretty clairvoyant. I'm really claircognizant and clairsentient. Like our gifts are going to really develop differently for you and your soul blueprint, right? So the first thing is to kind of start to notice and realize that your intuition is going to speak differently than my intuition or Anna Grace's intuition. You know, there's different types of clairs, claircognizance, clairsentience, clairvoyance. There's so many clairs that are ways that intuition speaks through your body and through your mind and through your soul. So that's like the first thing. And the second thing is something that I really believe in, is that a lot of your ability to hear your intuition is also related to not only your ability to trust yourself, but you healing your trauma. And I want to give an example of this, because I think that something that I teach a lot and is like the bread and butter of my entire work is inner child work, shadow work, inner work in general, energy healing. And the reason that I'm so passionate about this, and so many of my clients actually take my inner work program and then tell me they're wildly more intuitive after, is because sometimes our trauma is the thing that's holding back our intuition. So let me give you an example. Like, let's do, a tale as old as time. Let's say that you have like some daddy issues, and love feels like avoidance to you because your dad never gave you the amount of love or attention that your little girl needed. So when you grow up, love is going to feel what love felt like when you were younger. It's going to feel familiar. So it might feel like a man not fully choosing you. It might feel like somebody kind of ignoring you or avoiding you. And if you have done no personal work, or you have not looked at that trauma or started to heal or meet your own needs, then you might think that your intuition is telling you that this guy is your guy, right? But really, it's not your intuition, it's your trauma speaking. And so when you finally heal the trauma, then you're actually able to hear the voice of your soul, and you're able to hear exactly what your soul is trying to tell you versus what you think love or whatever should feel like. And so I think there's, to kind of recap that, there's two parts. It's kind of learning how your gifts speak to you, and then number two is doing your due diligence to clear the density, as I call it, which is the limiting beliefs, the trauma, and allowing a really clear channel to be able to hear, and a clear vessel to be able to hear your guides, your spirit team, your angels.
Beautiful. What do you think is a really, say someone's brand new, they're catching us, first podcast they've ever heard of both of us, and they're like, oh, that pattern sounds familiar. Maybe not exactly daddy issues, but some type of pattern where they're repeating, it's feeling avoidant, or some type of attachment issue, right? What do you feel like is the best place for them to start in doing some self-observation?
So I think that the first thing is to realize, okay, so I think that the way that I teach is like learning through your patterning, and everyone's patterning is different. So a really easy way is to see if you're attracting the same thing in different circumstances, right? So maybe you're attracting friends that always leave you out. That is a pattern, right? Maybe you're attracting men that take you on a lot of dates and are obsessed with you in the first 3, and then they decide that they don't want to date you. That's a pattern. Maybe you're attracting men that always ask you to pay. I don't know, like literally any pattern you can basically root down to why you're attracting that, because this is a mirror of a universe. What you see externally is what's going on internally. So it's either what you believe you deserve or what you're doing to yourself, right? And so you might be experiencing people bullying you because you're bullying yourself, or you might have experienced bullying as a child. And so that's kind of like what the programming or the QR code in your electromagnetic field is scanning. And that's what you're going to be getting back based on what's in your frequency. So it's basically in your field, like in your code, you know, like a computer has coding, even like websites have coding behind the scenes. It's like we're all having coding, and then the universe is scanning our barcode, our universal barcode at all times. And it's just giving us back what's in the code. And so if you have in your code, men treat me like shit, or men make me pay for everything, or my friends always leave me, that's going to be what you're being served back until you go in and change the coding with the subconscious reprogramming through inner child work, shadow work, any inner work that really gets into that unconscious mind.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. You know, I love technology examples, because I think that, I mean, it just makes so much sense to me that we are these electromagnetic beings. You know, I always use my Akashic Records is the iCloud, right? It's our cloud. There are so many different ways that patterns show up because we're a little computer program. And even, you know, after I came back from this retreat recently, my body was going through so much, and my Akashic Record kept saying like, your drive was full and you had to clear this stuff out. So like, it's going to be uncomfortable, but like, it's always good on the other side. So anyways, Kristen and I could go into a million different types of the ways that we do have patterning and coding, and we're kind of like little computers, and we're going to continue to do things over and over because it's what we've known. It's what's familiar, even if it's not what's serving us. And just to say, like, Kristen, this popped into my brain. So I don't know, I'm just going to, maybe it will take us somewhere, but I had a friend temporarily that I met a few years ago, and she told me like, everyone always uses me. Like I can't ever keep any friends. Everyone's always using me. And I remember thinking, because I liked her, she seemed, you know, good, normal at first. And then I thought, that's such a weird, you know, like kind of narrative to carry around. Because I was like into spiritual work. This was several years ago, but not as much as I am now. But anyways, she ended up kind of creating this situation where that happened, and like I didn't want to be friends with her anymore, and then she like used that narrative even though like I had nothing to do with it. Does that make sense? Like
Totally.
She created a situation in which was like, oh, it's because all of you guys are using me, and we were like all like, what? No, but it's like that was her patterning, that was her scanning. So I say this little example because it was something that I thought, whoa, you were really creating this scenario like it was kind of crazy. And it made me realize, one, how powerful our mind is, but two, another place for us to start, or what are some of those stories that you're carrying around, like really be honest with yourself and ask yourself, what is a story when I meet a new friend or I meet a new partner? It's like, do I immediately tell them like, well, X, Y, and Z happened in my last relationship? It's like you're still just carrying that suitcase around full of all of those stories. Mm-hmm. So Kristen, if, people start to bring in awareness around these patterns, these stories, what are some of your techniques or things that you really, I know you teach this, so I don't want you to give away too much free information, but are you like, are you a journal girly? Are you like, where do we go from there? We've identified some sources.
Yeah, well, I think that number one, it's a really good journaling exercise to like ask yourself point blank, like start on just like on the top of your page. What do I believe about the world? Do I believe that, like, what do I believe about friends? What do I believe about men? What do I believe about this? And I think like a really good place is like even thinking like, oh, it's so hard to date in New York City. Like, oh, it's so hard to date in my city. Like, really? Because that's a story, right? People date successfully in your city. So it's not actually true. It's a story you're telling yourself or a story you're buying into. Or men always do this. Like, literally write the stories around the subjects that you want to unpack. That can be a really, really beautiful exercise. The way that I teach is really finding your stories through your triggers. So triggers are basically external events that trigger a emotional response in you, but it's not just any emotional response. It's a response that feels bigger than it should be, right? So it's like somebody says something to you and you're like, I am like way more hurt about Anna Grace saying that about me than I feel like I should be. And I know that, and I don't know how to change it, right? And so you can start to identify when you're triggered. For my clients, we have this thing that we use called a trigger tracker, which is just a note on your phone where you start to track the moments that you're triggered. And then from there, you can use inner child work or shadow work to start to find the roots of the triggers, right? So every trigger, it's not triggering, you're not actually hurt from the thing, it's triggering a past wound that's getting reopened, right? So think about like a scab that you're reopening and it's like, it hurts really bad because it's a past wound that never healed. And so once you find the root of the trigger, you can start to work on that core belief, right? Because you might think that people always use you because your best friend in 5th grade used you and then disposed of you. And so now you're carrying around that story. And then when you understand how to do subconscious reprogramming, which is basically a fancy way of saying going down to your computer programming and changing the code, you can go change the code in your electromagnetic field and your brain and your neural pathways, and you can rewrite over them so that you're operating under a new programming system. Your cloud, your programming system is getting an upgrade, right? And so now you're going to be attracting people who don't use you. You're not going to be searching for people that are using you. You're going to feel whole and worthy. And really the entire point of this universe, actually, like I hate to say it, but really it is to remember your wholeness and remember your worthiness. And so the triggers are actually beautiful gifts when you kind of go up an octave in consciousness, because there's no other way that we would see where our wounds are or where we're operating out of unworthiness if we weren't getting triggered, right? And so I really think of triggers as beautiful teachers, as gifts, because they're showing us the exact roadmap into your most worthy, authentic life.
That is so good. You're right. Triggers, I had this kind of feeling the other day. I was kind of telling you yesterday, Kristen and I did a podcast swap, by the way, so you can catch us everywhere. But I was telling her how I was experiencing some really uncomfortable emotions after this situation that I was in. I felt like my body was in danger, right? And even though I've been doing this work and I know this, and I told her, I was like, I'm so glad it happened though, because sometimes I just get too comfy, cozy, rosy, like to the point where like I might not even be evolving. And old me would probably not have been excited about a trigger or anxiety or, these emotions. I told Kristen, I go, I don't ever feel this anymore. Like I've gotten to the point where I'm so regulated. Sometimes I feel like the universe is like, all right, we're going to have to turn up a little heat just to get things kind of moving and shaking. But I do feel like when you can take that lens, and I love that you said that, as triggers can be a gift. One, it takes the one seriousness out of it, the charge. You're like, oh, this is a little clue. This is a little scavenger hunt. I always try to bring us back to that idea that this is a game. We're turning over rocks. We're seeing what's here. We're looking for little clues, because we all ultimately, we want to be happy. We want to be living a peaceful life. And kind of also echoing what you said earlier about how manifestation has kind of, not fallen to the waywards, but I think that the more that you do this work, the more that you just trust in the unknown. And that's where I've been too. I mean, I had never expected to live in Florida. And like the way my life looks now, I mean, I just couldn't have manifested it.
Couldn't have manifested it, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's like technically I did manifest it, but I didn't know what I was manifesting, I guess, like just certain levels of, being happy and healthy. All that being said, Kristen, what are some of your favorite ways that you have gone in to rewrite your code? I got tongue tied there.
Yeah. So are you talking about like modalities or like what some of the rules that I've like rewrote?
Maybe do some both. Give us some modalities and then take us through an example of something that you've rewritten.
One of the things that I love to talk about because I feel, okay, so when I rewrite my codes, I try to make them really foundational to ripple out into the rest of my life. So I'm going to give you guys an example. One of the codes that I have just actually always had in my life that I feel like has been so beneficial is that the rules don't apply to me. Like, I don't know why, but I've just always, maybe it's because I'm the youngest. It's just like, I always kind of was like, yeah, but that doesn't apply to me, right? And so this is kind of the essence of all the rules that I try to reprogram in my unconscious mind to just kind of ripple out into my life. So to give you guys an example, when I wanted to quit my corporate job, because I used to be a corporate girly, and then now, I'm full-time in my business. I'm a spiritual mentor and podcaster. People would always say, like, how are you going to make money? Or like, you need a corporate job to be successful. And I just would say, like, those rules don't apply to me, right? Like, those rules just don't apply to me. And even things like when people would say, oh, this like show is sold out, we can't go. I'd be like, oh, I can go. I'll find a way in. And I would always find a way in. Like, I would just meet somebody on the street and then they would be like, oh, I have an extra ticket, or I know the doorman, or whatever. Like, the rules just don't apply to me. And so those are the kind of rules that I try to put in my electromagnetic field that will ripple out into the rest of my life. So to give you guys an example, I love talking about money. I grew up with a very lack mindset. And if you haven't listened to me in Anna Grace's first episode, Rich as Fuck, like, go listen to that, because you will see that like my lack mindset ran so deep. I grew up in a family where we had money, but we never wanted to spend it, like, because we just never, ever, ever, ever thought that it was okay to spend money. We lived in houses with no furniture in them, like seriously weird stuff. I always had this feeling like I could never spend money. I could never spend money. And one of the rules that I reprogrammed around money is that like money is easy to make and it's always coming to me and always flowing to me even when I sleep. And so I remember the time period where I was rewiring this belief in my unconscious mind that I make money in my sleep. And I had never really had made money in my sleep. Like, I had never really made passive revenue at this point. And so I started rewiring this belief that I make money in my sleep. I make money in my sleep. I make money in my sleep. Money comes to me so easy. And I swear to God, it was around this time, every single night I would wake up and I would have a sale. I don't know why I would have a sale. I would have a meditation sale. I would have someone book a session. I would have a reoccurring payment. I would just make money in my sleep, to the point where to this day, more nights than not, I make money in my sleep. I make money while I'm sleeping. Another one around money is that, yeah, like money is really easy to make. So it was like I wasn't making anything passively. And then all of a sudden, all these affiliate things came in, or people would just hire me based on this random interview that I did 3 years ago. It's like random ways that money is just easy for me to make, and I always have enough, right? And so you can rewire these core beliefs around anything you want. You can say, oh, another one that I've rewritten that's actually very, very relevant to my life right now. Okay, so I have this core belief that I reprogrammed in my mind. I used to have like a lot of friendship stuff that would come up, but one of the core beliefs I believe about the world now is that no matter where I go, I will always have people around me, and I will have quality people that love me and will take care of me. And I swear to God, as soon as I landed in San Francisco and I got here, it was just like all of these people just like came around me. Like all of these people just kind of, it felt like they flocked to me. I didn't have to go out and get them. It's just like they all just like started reaching out to me, asked me to do things. And then this person knew that person, and this person invited me to this party. And like literally people on Instagram message me and they're like, how did you make friends so fast? And I'm like, I don't know. I just always will have friends. Anywhere I go, I will have friends, And so those are just some examples of core beliefs. The way that I reprogram these in my unconscious mind is, once again, I will use, and I've been doing this work on myself for 10 years. So this is not something that was like I just did in 3 months time. I have been working on these beliefs and rewiring them slowly over time, but I use inner child work because I think it's most effective. I have created a formula in my school that's called heart work, which blends brain and heart coherence with subconscious reprogramming. And then we add either like inner child healing or shadow work to it. So we really start with creating safety in the body through opening the heart. And then after we open the heart, we go down into the unconscious mind and we rewrite whatever belief. So if your belief around money started at 5 years old when your dad said that you couldn't have a toy because, you didn't have enough money for it, well, then we would go down to that belief and we would say, and I would ask you through some journaling and through some inquiry, okay, what would have needed to happen for you to believe that you'll always have more than enough money and you never have to worry about money? And you might say, okay, well, my dad would probably say, go get whatever toy you want. We have more than enough. And then in the meditation, while you're in those theta brain waves and you're the unconscious state, because we bring you down through the meditation, through hypnosis to the unconscious brain waves, we would go and we would rewrite that memory where you get to just pick out any toy you want. And your dad maybe validates your belief of like, just know that we'll always have enough money and you never have to worry about money. And money will always be there for you. And then your inner child feels worthy, whole, like they'll always have money. And then once you feel that energetic shift in the meditation, then you're able to, open your eyes. And a lot of times you might feel emotional, or you might just feel that subtle shift where around money, you don't have that much of a charge anymore. And so sometimes these neural pathways takes 1 or 2 times, or maybe even 5 times to go down and rewrite. But when you hit it just right, you'll know because you'll feel that energetic shift. And then you'll be operating in this universe with a whole new code.
Wow. Yeah. Wait, I love what you said too. Explain to me this. You said we create safety in the body by opening the heart. That was the first. Kind of explain, because, I'm all about safety and nervous system. So explain what does that mean, and the heart opening. Give us a little bit more there as well.
Love this. So a lot of people have told me, or like they'll tell me before they do my work, they're like, Kristen, I've tried inner child healing before, but I've never had it as effective as yours. And the reason that I believe that is because I really lean into safety first. So let me just kind of go back and explain this in a really tangible way. So trauma is anything that we didn't feel safe to feel, right? That's my definition of trauma. And it really gives the inner child permission to say, yeah, that little thing that happened may not be a big deal as an adult, but it was a big deal as an inner child, as a little girl, as a little boy. And so we didn't feel safe feeling these feelings. And so we kind of pushed these feelings down. And in order to be able to go process these unprocessed emotions that are stuck in our body must feel safe. So if you are somebody who maybe doesn't have a lot of memories of childhood, or feels like they can't access those really deep emotions, it's probably because your body feels unsafe, right? And so my entire process starts with safety work. This is training the brain and the body that it is safe to feel and that you can handle it. And so I do safety meditations, like full meditations that are creating safety in the body, but I also add them into my inner child healing and trauma meditations. So one of the easiest ways to do this that's proven is through brain and heart coherence. So basically, when you're focusing your energy on your heart, what it does is it physically brings energy into the heart, it opens the heart, and it signals to the body, it's safe. I'm safe here. It signals to the body and the brain. It sends energy to the brain. I'm safe. Because think about it. When you're opening your heart and you're sending love and you're feeling love, like, you're not going to open your heart if a lion is chasing you, right? You're not going to open your heart if you're in a conversation and someone's making you feel unsafe. Like, those are not times to open the heart. So when we consciously open the heart, we're actually signaling to the body, I'm safe here. It's safe to feel. It's safe to heal. And then the parasympathetic nervous system starts to turn on. So your nervous system gets really regulated. And in that state, your brain waves start to shift to theta brain waves. And from there, we can access the code of the unconscious mind. And so we start with heart work. We start with opening the heart. We start with feeling. And a lot of times this can be really emotional for my clients because the heart is intelligent love. It's loving intelligence, and it knows what you need to feel, even if there's no logical reason for it. So sometimes, my clients will open their heart and they'll be like, I don't know why I started crying as soon as I started opening my heart. And I'm like, there was just information in there that needed to be released. You don't need to know why. You just feel it. And so, yeah, we start with the safety work to really signal to the body we're in the brain. And from there, our adult self can then go heal the trauma and the feelings that maybe were unprocessed as a child.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good, I kind of know this, but I love your definition. I love breaking this down for everyone, because a lot of the meditations, like Kristen, she loves Daddy Joe Dispenza, lots of heart opening meditations. And he talks a lot about the heart, but also that's a really common theme throughout so many different modalities, spiritual practices, all the things. The heart center, which the heart center is obviously our strongest electromagnetic field, for anybody who maybe doesn't know that. But whenever people say like open your heart, I kind of just want to give an example of how I open mine, and I want to hear maybe how you open yours, because I feel like it's a term people throw around a lot. If you don't know the work, like I feel like Austin's like, right, what are we doing? How are we doing opening the heart? What does that mean? So like I always like scan my body and like bring all of the energy up from my feet, and then like from my head, and like meets in the middle. Like I'm kind of make like this like ball of energy in my heart. And then I always start thinking about like times in my life. I think about like my wedding day, like when Austin and I were saying our vows, like I felt so much love in that moment. Like, I just start thinking about times where I felt a lot of love, and I start like pulling that into my heart center. And then I kind of just like let it take me on a journey from there. But I use memories to help me open my heart. What does your process look like?
Yeah, I honestly just place my attention on my heart space. So if you close your eyes, and if you're listening, obviously not if you're driving, but like if you're just listening, even if your eyes are open, just place your attention on your heart, right? So like, to give you an example, you might be like, what does that mean? So if I told you to place your attention on your childhood home, you could place your consciousness and like see your childhood home. You could see the rooms, like place your attention on your childhood bedroom. You could see it in your mind's eye. So that's the same, but like just place your attention on your heart space. Literally just place it there. And if you really pay attention and you're without distraction, you'll actually be able to feel the energy in your heart. And if we added a little music in and we added a little bit more intention and space, this energy would start to build in your heart. And I could say, feel gratitude. Feel gratitude for your life. Feel gratitude for the people you love. Feel gratitude for your pets. And this energy starts to build to where your body can start to memorize these feelings of love, of openness, of safety, of gratitude. And as the heart starts to build, this is not some foo-foo little whatever that I'm telling you to do that's, just whatever. It's science backed that you can measure the energy in your heart, and then the energy around your body starts to expand outward up to like, I think like 500 yards or something, like something crazy. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. But like really big, your electromagnetic field literally starts to widen. So to give you guys an even, bigger picture of this, when you're in survival, when you don't feel safe in your body, you have a dim electromagnetic field. It's like 1 inch around your body. As soon as you open your heart and you feel safe, your Wi-Fi signal of your electromagnetic field now starts to widen. And this is really where you're able to speak to the universe. And like, this is why you have more synchronicity in your life. You have more manifestation. And, I know that I said I wasn't really like manifesting a lot, but the manifestation that I do now is like, I work with these, again, foundational beliefs, these foundational values, so that I just manifest the best of everything now. Like the best, I just want to be in a constant field and like field day of the best of everything, right? And so I feel like I'm manifesting the best of everything. I'm manifesting money, abundance, love, friendship. When I just have a big field, like my field is open, I feel worthy, and my signal to the universe is like, I'm open, I feel safe, I'm open to receiving, right? Because it's like, you kind of can't be in the receiving mode if you are feeling unsafe in the world. And so even my clients, I have this program called Inner Work Alchemy, and the entire program is just around doing the inner work to feel more worthy of and get best of everything. It's like, I call it a manifestation program in disguise, because once you clear all the density and you learn how to open your heart, like your entire life is just like a free fall of like, you get the best friends, the best men, the best everything. And we do this because they're like, wow, I have done nothing differently but open my heart every day. And I feel like I'm the luckiest, most magnetic, most amazing person in this entire world. And like, it's because the heart center is the center of oneness. Like, it's your connection to life. It's your connection to the divine. Like, it's so amazing when you actually think about it. The love that's in your heart, it's the same love that's in Anna Grace's heart. It's the same love that's in your mom's heart. It's the same love that's in every single person's heart. It's the thing that connects us all. And so when you really learn how to harness this energetic power and be connected to the world, think about it. It's like a thread that's now going out and can speak to all the other threads of hearts and bring you the exact circumstances, the exact people, the exact places that are going to bring you the most fulfillment and abundance, because this intelligence in your heart, it knows exactly what you desire on a soul level, and it can kind of bring that to you. Was that a good way of explaining it?
That was phenomenal. Yes.
Okay.
I like how you said it. Your heart knows exactly what you desire. You don't even have to get that specific. And I feel that way. Like, I'll have moments. I posted a video. It's like an ocean, me doing Reiki, just like in nature. And I'm just like sending energy through the phone. But anyways, whenever I film some of those videos, like if I'm in a beautiful spot in nature, whatever, I'll get so overwhelmed with love. I'll just start crying. Like, but it's happy tears. Mm-hmm. But I know that's because my heart space is so open. Like, yeah. But I kind of, I mean, I feel like I was doing that maybe intuitively before I even knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But now that makes so much sense that some people would have such a small field because they probably are just trying to protect their body. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and think about people who are really lucky and they maybe naturally just feel like good things always happen to them. Those are people that are typically like the most grateful. They're just like always grateful, you know? And it's because they're always feeling grateful. And so the best of everything is always happening to them. And so there is science behind it, like whether you believe it or not. But I think that for people like me, you know, I'm a Virgo moon. So I'm like, give me the data, give me all the data. Yeah. And so I need the data of like, okay, let me actually see the science of the synchronicity, the science of manifestation, the science of what's actually happening in my body when I'm doing these things.
Yeah. My little Virgo moon. I'm like the opposite. I'm like, I don't need any facts at all. I just believe it on blindly. Which is like...
I know. But you know, like we need both. We need people who are just like, I believe it. And then we need people that I'm like, no, but give me the facts.
Give me the facts. No, but I think that's why I love talking to you, because you have all the facts and I want to know about them. And speaking of facts, actually it's 2:22 right now as we're recording. Amazing. Okay. So Kristen is like such a cool plant medicine girly. And I have aspired to be that, but it's just like, it's never worked out for me. So Kristen, give us a couple little takeaways, little things to nibble on, some like life altering light bulb moments you've had from like mushrooms or like ceremony.
Yes. Okay. So on the topic, you know, we talked a lot about like the stories that we tell ourselves. So this is actually one of my favorite teachings that in plant medicine, I call it like my greatest spiritual teacher of my entire life, because like I said, I've been on this journey for a long time. For you guys that don't like know me personally, I had my spiritual awakening when I was 17. And so now I'm 30. So it's been a while, and I've learned a lot. But like after my ceremonies, I always come out being like, I learned more in those 6 hours than I have in the last 10 years, because I really, really, really have. And so one of my favorite stories and one of the most dear to my heart teachings that I have is, let me just like paint the picture for you guys. So I am deep in the worst breakup of my entire life. My relationship of 4 years has just crumbled unexpectedly. He left. He gave me no closure. I am like just deep in the trenches, and I don't think I'm ever going to get out. And so I'm doing a lot of plant medicine this year, to be completely transparent, because it was, I needed to something to cling to, and it was God at the time, and it was just knowing that I would be okay. And so I go into this is like maybe my second or third ceremony this year. It had been a while though since my last ceremony, but it like probably like 6 months, but I had done a lot of ceremonies that year. I'm someone who pretty much processes all my emotions like pretty as they come. I don't really repress too much these days, because I just have an open heart. And when you have an open heart, you can't really handle the emotion. You can't really push down the emotions. So I had cried and really just, you know, gone to therapy. I'd been doing coaching, doing therapy, doing all the things, microdosing. So feeling a lot every single day. And I go into this ceremony and I'm like, you know, I have my tissues ready. I'm with one of my friends and I'm like, I'm ready to cry. I'm ready to feel the rest of the shit. I'm ready to really just like go in all my emotions and like, let's fucking do it. And I just want to say, if you've never done plant medicine, when you're on even a little bit of mushrooms, like a microdose, which is like a very sub-perceptual amount, if there's something to feel, you cannot push it down. You will feel it, right? Okay. So I go into the ceremony and take a full dose, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to cry, God. Like, let's fucking go. I got my tissues. Let's go. And nothing comes. And I keep on sitting there. It's like 2 hours in now. And I'm on mushrooms, but I'm like, can't cry. I literally can't cry. And I'm like, God, I need to cry. And it's actually like I'm trying to cry so much that I'm like making myself uncomfortable. And like, I just feel like all this resistance, like I just feel all this discomfort in my body because I'm like, I need to cry. Like I need to like get the rest of this out. And when I personally am on mushrooms, I feel like I become one with all that is. And like me and source, me and God are like just having this literal face-to-face conversation. So I get to the point in my journey and I go, what the fuck? I'm like, I want to cry. Why can't I cry? And I hear God say to me, there's nothing else to feel. You raw dogged it all, Kristen. You already felt it. And I go, no, there's more, because I'm grieving. Like I'm still not happy in my life. Like, no, let me feel the rest of it because I need to get this out. I need to be done with this breakup. And God goes, the only thing left for you to do is to stop telling the story that you're still in a breakup. As soon as you tell the story that you're over it, you will be over it. And I got so pissed off at God. I was like, no, like I'm not over it. Like I'm still, and he's like, this is exactly why you're not over it. Cause you won't stop fucking talking about it. You won't stop talking about the fact that you're miserable and the fact that he left you and the fact that this, that, and that. And he goes, as soon as you tell a new story, the new story will be real. And so that was a lot. And I just like, that was like a crazy moment of aha, of wow, the stories we are telling ourselves are going to shape our lives. And so to give you guys just like a takeaway, and I really believe in integration of what you learn in ceremony. Like I don't believe that the ceremony is the most important part. It's like what you do with it. And so I get out of the ceremony and I'm doing a lot of integration and I'm like kind of mind blown. And I'm like, okay, so how do I actually tell a new story? And so a few things that I did after that was I stopped talking about the breakup to anybody. Like I was just like, I told my friends I wanted to stop talking about it. I didn't ever tell the story about it again. I stopped talking about it for, I was like, for 6 months, I don't want to talk about it. When people would meet me, I'm sure people can relate to this. When you go through a breakup, like when you meet new people, it feels like an important part of your identity that you need to share. You're like, yeah, I'm going through a breakup, or like, yeah, I used to be in a relationship, but like I just moved here because I'm getting out of it. And I stopped saying that. I would just say, hi, I'm Kristen, like I just want to be Kristen. And that was like a really new thing for me. I used to be like, yeah, I'm Kristen. I just went through this really bad breakup and blah, 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 blah. And like, I would tell the whole fucking story to anyone who would listen. And so I stopped telling the story to new people. I decided what story I wanted to tell myself, which was that, I was going all in on my business and that I had other goals and things that I wanted to share and talk about. And so I started talking about the things that I actually wanted to come into fruition and just stopped dwelling on the freaking past. And I swear to God, guys, after that trip, about a month later, I no longer felt like I was going through a breakup. I was like fully over it. And so that lesson of just the importance of the stories that we're telling ourselves it was one of the most beautiful, hard, deep lessons of my entire life, even though it's seemingly simple.
Well, that's the thing. Some of the most profound moments I've had, whether it was, in the Akashic Records or intense, my own versions of plant medicine, not plant medicine, but just deep connective points are sometimes, it's the most simple yet the most profound. And you shared another one. You guys got to follow Kristen. She's a really interesting follow on TikTok. She's always like got something really interesting going on. It's like you have like a very intelligent computer brain.
Thank you.
It's like thought-provoking posts. Like I think about what you post long after I watched it. I'm like, you posted something the other day. You're like, what mushrooms taught me about how basically like there's always going to be problems in our life. Do you remember that post you shared?
Yeah.
it was like there's always going to be problems. And so maybe you should explain it, because you said it first, but what was it that mushrooms told you, that they just take different shapes? Or
Yeah, so okay, so this was actually the ceremony before. So
okay, I love it.
yeah, so I was in the ceremony around my breakup again, and as you guys can see, I like literally like this breakup was actually the most beautiful gift of my entire life now, but I learned a lot. And so I literally was just, again, so fucking miserable. And I was like crying my eyes out on the mushroom trip. This was one where I was crying. And I was like, Source, tell me when this is going to be over. Like, I need the fucking date. Like, give me the date. Give me the date. Give me the time. When am I going to be over this? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? And Source said, Mushroom said, they said, you do know, Kristen, that as soon as you're over this, there's going to be another problem in your life to solve. And life is just a series of problems. And the more you can be unconditional in your joy, in your happiness, in loving life itself, in gratitude, the better life is going to be. Because guess what? The rest of your life is going to be problem after problem after problem after problem. Like, think about it. That's what life is. Life is problems, right? Like, you find the man and now you don't like your job, and then you like your job, and then, you know, your AC broke, and then your AC broke, and now your mom's sick. Like, life is just a series of problems. Life is going to be always problems. And so the true mastery of what our soul is here is, how can I be unconditional in my self-love? How can I be unconditional in my joy? How can I be unconditional in my happiness? And I think that unconditional is this buzzword now, but really break it down with me. Like, unconditional means without condition. Like, I am going to feel joy without condition because I'm fucking alive. Like, that's why, because I'm alive. I'm going to feel gratitude for life because it's so magical that I don't even know all the people I'm going to be connected with, but I'm already connected to them, and they're already my friends, and life is just, again, a magical unfolding, right? And so that was another great lesson that mushrooms taught me, is that, babe, there's always going to be a problem. And the only thing here to do is to not take life too seriously and feel a fuck ton of joy on the way.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved that because I think some people could be like, oh, more problems. Wah. But for me, it gave me perspective in the sense of, so many people get so every single day, the grass is greener over there, somewhere else. It's someone else's life is better than their life, or this or that. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Even if, you know, you weren't dating this guy and you were dating the other guy that you broke up with and then you regret, there was always going to be something for you to work through, else you'd be bored. We would be so bored. We'd have like no purpose to evolve and grow. It's kind of like the beautiful part of it. It's a double-edged sword in a way. Like, yeah, we want it to be easy breezy, but it's like, how resilient can we be in our joy and our devotion to ourselves and loving ourselves? And like, I don't know, the other day, we have a leak, like a really bad leak in our, bedroom, and Austin was like getting so frustrated. And I'm like, I hate to be that girl, but like last week I was with people who were in wheelchairs and all they wanted to do was walk. Like, shut up, like, I love you. I get it. It sucks, but like, it's not that big of a deal. Like I'm really becoming that person where I'm like,
it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. It's all perspective. And it's like, yeah, there's going to be problems. And if there's problems in your job or your marriage or whatever, like, even if you were with someone else or another job or something else, there's always going to be something for you to solve and learn and grow. So you might as well just come at it from this perspective of like, yeah, that's like kind of the point of why we're here, to learn. And I don't know where I picked this up, Kristen, maybe you can clarify, but someone said that like without struggle, we would cease to exist. Like if there was no, like, there's actually like a healthy amount of struggle in our life, like a little bit of like problem solving, not like struggle is in like despair and I want to be miserable, more like problem solving actually like really keeps us motivated and inspired. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about, but I will say from my perspective, like from what I've channeled and like basically what I know about source and spirituality, it's like, we talked about this on my podcast. It's like God got bored. There was no struggle. When you're in oneness, when you're only in love, like when there's just love, right? Imagine if we only all felt unconditional love for each other, for ourselves. Nobody was mean. Nobody was like everything was love. Like we would get bored. We'd be bored. And I believe that that's what happened. God was oneness. God was all that is. It was this beautiful, loving energy. And then it's like, but what else is there? I'm bored. And so it's like a mirror that was like, this is how I explain it in my program. So imagine this mirror that's just all oneness, all love. And then God got bored and said, I want to experience more than oneness. Like, what else is there? What else can I experience? I want to expand. And the only way I can expand is through a little bit of destruction, right? Like, and so it broke the mirror so that the pieces could be, all in a pile on the floor, and they could see each other and they could hit up against each other, and there would be these sharp edges. And in the way that this mirror shatters, this one becomes a zillion and a trillion pieces of this little mirror. And it's still all part of the oneness of love, but now it's a little sharper and it has a little more contrast, and it's bad and good. And like, it has, again, it's like, it creates the contrast so that we can learn and we can grow. And another really good analogy that I use is like, think about if you're wanting to expand your house, right? Think about if you're doing a remodel. So you might knock down this wall. Let's say this like door right now. I'm going to knock down this wall. And if I zoom in, oh my God, that's a lot of destruction. What's going on? Why are you knocking down the wall? But then you let life play out. You let time go by, and it's actually expanding the room to be bigger. Right? So we're expanding through destruction. Destruction sometimes looks like hardship. It looks like pain. It looks like anger. It looks like uncomfortable things that are happening. But then we actually we go to the higher octave, the higher perspective of what's going on. And it's actually expanding us. It's actually growing our soul. It's actually creating a more conscious being where we can see things from a bigger perspective.
I love that. I love the home analogy. I actually love the mirror too. I haven't heard that one from you. That's really cool. It's like we were all part of this mirror, and then when you break the mirror, we're still a part of this oneness, but now we're all reflecting and bouncing off of each other. And there's all these different little sharper edges because we're all just trying to survive and figure it out,
And remember that we were once the mirror, but
yeah, we were once the mirror. Then we'll return back one day, and all go back to being a part of a whole piece. That's how I feel, Did you ever watch White Lotus?
Yeah.
And he says like, you're like a drop in the ocean, and then you like return back into like a bigger body of water. I always thought that was such a nice analogy for like leaving this little human experience and returning to this nice feeling of wholeness.
Yeah. So one of my favorite quotes is like a Rumi quote, and it's, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in one drop.
That's food for thought. I'm gonna have to nibble on that. Ooh, I like it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, Kristen, we got to wrap it up because I could just keep talking to you, but tell everyone, where can they find you? Tell us all the things. What's going on?
Yeah, I would love to connect with you. Obviously on socials, everywhere, on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, it's just at Kristen.Such. And then I have a podcast called Alignment Academy Podcast. Anna Grace's episode will be probably up when this comes up, so definitely go check us out on there. And then I also have 2 programs that I run every year. One of them is Inner Work Alchemy, which is going to be my inner work program to help you heal your trauma and, really come back into worthiness and attract more love, money, visibility. And then I have a new program that is about to come called School of Intuition that's going to help you develop your psychic gifts and use your intuitive gifts to help yourself and others. So
love. Oh, fun. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I know everybody needed this episode. You always bring so many beautiful, just insightful nuggets that we all needed today. So thank you, Kristen. I just adore you.
Thank you. I love you guys. Thanks, AG fam, for always being so loving. And I can't wait to meet you guys.
Yay. Love you. Bye.